All right, welcome back, folks. We got ourselves some new drama in the ongoing MrBeast controversy, and it has to deal with a former employee, yet another, yes, another former employee of MrBeast who has come out and basically explained just how awful of an employer he was and what it was like to work for MrBeast in the awful working conditions. You know, I wasn't even going to make this video, but what kind of made me decide to, come out with this video is I wanted to just kind of fight back against some of the ridiculous comments and the ridiculous people out here who are trying to defend MrBeast and normalize the excessive working conditions that we see in America. You know, typically, unfortunately, it is a reality that a lot of people who are supposed to only work 40 hours a week end up working way more because they have awful employers who kind of, you either do it or you're fired, even though it says in the contract that, you guys know what I'm talking about. So I just wanted to go ahead and defend that. But let's go ahead and listen to some of the allegations here. And I will just give my commentary on it because some of you all have lost your minds. And don't worry, your boy Echoes is here to correct you because what's wrong with you people? Here we go.
We posted it and Jimmy put me on a group call with the other leads at Horizontal. He was fucking furious about it because it started tanking just so much, and he was just like, why do we post this, blah blah blah, every video needs the best video possible. Trey, this is all your fault. This is all your fault for posting a cringe video, and we need to work more hours, we need to do this, we need to do that. And it was during that call that I was like, Jimmy, I'm not working more than 45 hours anymore per week. I'm not working Saturdays and Sundays anymore. I will continue working for you, but I'm not doing that.
First off, I do want to say something. Asking your employee, obviously, based on what this guy's name is Trey, based on what Trey is saying right now, it's obvious that when he first got hired for the job, when he first did the interview, it was not told to him that he would be working Saturdays and Sundays. This is something new that happened. MrBeast got upset about something. He's like, all right, guys, we got to put in more work. This is getting ridiculous. Things aren't going the way that I want. We're all going to have to work more, which means you guys are going to have to work, Saturdays and Sundays, you're going to have to work more hours. And he's like, bro, I'm not working more than 45 hours a week. Like, what are you talking about? I don't see an issue with that. I don't understand why people are like going after this guy in the comments and saying that, oh, that's normal, or questioning this guy's work ethic. First of all, let me explain something to you guys. This guy is an editor, okay? The fact that he worked for MrBeast, he's obviously a good editor because MrBeast only hires the best of the best when it comes to editing. I don't know if you guys understand how hard it is to edit like MrBeast. Again, there's two different ways of editing. There's the editing that I do or other YouTubers do where we talk on a camera. We do a little bit of editing here and there, put things a certain way, mesh the audio. There's that editing. And then there's the every second of the video you're editing, which takes hours and hours to do, where you're inserting things, you're putting text here, you're switching the screen, you're putting music, you're doing it. Two different types of editing. The type of editing this guy was doing, that is very hard work. I need you guys to understand this who might not understand. I feel like only the editors will be able to relate. Editing is extremely hard, tedious, long hour work already. And so for MrBeast to tell this guy, hey, now I want you to work weekends, now I want you to work more than 45 hours. That is not okay. That is bad. All of you who are defending this, you got to stop it, okay? That's just not cool. I understand that in America, unfortunately, it happens. A lot of people end up working more hours than they are supposed to legally, by contract, whatever, but that doesn't make it right. And that's what I need you guys to understand. Just because certain things are a reality in this country of America that we live in does not make it right. You should not be working people this long, especially when it comes to editing, because editing is already really hard work. Let's continue the video.
And he paused and he was like taken aback. And he was like, oh, I didn't know you felt that way. Which is... How do you say that? Like, the average work week for an American is 40 hours a week. How are you going to say that to me?
Imagine being surprised that you won a weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And people at Walmart can't work more than 40 hours a week, because if they do, then Walmart's breaking a law. Like, I told him on that call with the two other leads at Horizontal, and then I got a message from one of the other leads a few hours later, or maybe the next day, saying we need to talk on Monday. So that ruined my entire weekend that weekend of just like the impending doom of just like, oh my God, they're going to lay me off.
And see, this is kind of what I was talking about when I was like talking to you guys about this. It's like it's not as easy to just tell your employer no, because it's like jobs are not super easy to find, especially like a well-paying one. I'm assuming he working for MrBeast was probably a well-paying job. He's stuck in this situation now. This is what happens, unfortunately, with a lot of employees in America who work for these terrible employers, where you're in a job where they're paying pretty good money. You're secure. You have that security. Nobody wants to get fired or don't have a job and got to figure out how they're going to make money next week or whatever. Like, that's not fun. So now you're in a situation where it's like, oh, crap, now this guy wants to talk to me on Monday. So, like, do I just accept the fact that I've got to work more hours than I legally should be? Or do I just stand up for myself and then I got to risk getting fired and I might get a job? I might, one, not be able to find another job. And if I find another job, it might not be as nice or as fun or pay as much as this job that I had. Like, it's just, it gets really complicated, folks.
And then there was a gaming session that happened on Monday. And I was there on the call, but like no one was talking to me. So I knew what was coming. And it was just like, yeah, after that call, that lead called me and he was just like, sorry, we got to let you go. And I was crushed too. I was just like, I mean, what can be, we can change things. Like, what can be done to change this? And he's just like, I'm sorry, that's just the way it has to be. And I mean, and Jimmy even had the fucking audacity to call me after that call and ask if I was okay. That was definitely another story that I wanted to get out there about why I was laid off from MrBeast. And I feel like that your channel is going to be like the big revelation on that. But
yeah, so that's a terrible reason to fire or lay somebody off. You told them, hey, I want you to work more hours. And they're like, no, I don't want to work more hours. Like, what do you, like, what the heck? Like, no, what? Like, can we figure something else out? Like, what? And then MrBeast's like, okay, you're gone. So I just think going forward, I mean, if that's what MrBeast wants to do, then at least let people know that ahead of time that, hey, you know, you may have to work 80 hours or whatever, because that's, I don't know. This is a very weird situation. It just, his depiction of what happened, it really makes MrBeast seem like an awful person. It really does. I don't understand why he had to fire the guy. Why not just move him to a different position? Like, okay, fine. You don't want to do this. When you first interviewed, I never told you that you would have to do this. This is a new thing that I want to do because the company's growing and I want the company to do better and I want the YouTube to grow. We need more people to work more hours. Like, these are the expectations, you know? I just think that firing him for that was terrible. I mean, just think about your job. Like, I work a day job myself, right? And if my employer randomly came up to me and said, because I do work from home too. So if my employer randomly came up to me and was like, oh, hey, you know, not only do we want you to come to the office 5 days a week, but we want you to work. I mean, don't even worry about the 5 days a week or in the office. Where Forget that. Let's just do the hours. If my employer came to me and said, we want you to work more than 40 hours a week, we want you to work 50, 55, and we want you to work weekends, I would say no. I would do the same thing. And I'm sure most people would too, because like there's got to be a work-life balance. It is not healthy. You are literally taking years off your life. And also you're not living a very good life either. Just from a philosophical perspective, this is my opinion. If all your entire life is just work, you're not living that great of a life. Go touch some freaking grass. Go hang out with people. Go be social. Go to a freaking bar with your friends. Go play basketball. Go to a movie. Do something. We are not meant as human beings to just work forever. That's a greed thing. That is a person at the top, an employer, a boss who wants to get way more production out of his employees than he's willing to pay. And so he's telling those people, hey, you got to work all these hours. And because he's in a position where he has power, he can literally take your job away from you. And most people probably don't want to lose their job, especially in this economy. You know, there's that power dynamic. So I have a huge problem with this. I know I spent a lot of time on that segment, but you know what? This is how I feel. Okay, let's go to the next part. Here we go.
And they would send that to me and I would stay up until 3 a.m., 4 a.m. every single night, commenting on those videos on what needs to change. Like, I worked Thanksgiving, Christmas, my 30th birthday, 4th of July.
I want you guys to hear this clearly. He worked Christmas, Thanksgiving, his 30th birthday, 4th of July. Come on, folks. Like what are we talking about here? And it's funny because I'm seeing people on Twitter, I'm seeing people in the comments defending Mr. Beast and saying that this guy is just a crybaby. That's literally what people are saying. Bro, he had to work Christmas, what'd he say, Thanksgiving, 30th birthday. First of all, I'm 29. My 30th birthday is next month, and your boy will be in Toronto. That's going to be fun. But I wish my employer would tell me, you have to work on your 30th birthday. Are you crazy? I will be in Toronto, Canada, okay? Like, what? But anyway, yeah, it's just wrong. It really is. It really shows. If you guys, I feel like if you guys are more, I don't know how to say this. I feel like for those who think critically, what you will take away from this guy's situation in this video is there's a pattern here. There's all these people coming out essentially saying the same thing about Mr. Beast. These are not a bunch of, they're just disgruntled employees. No, these are people who were mistreated. These are good people, good employees who were there to do a job, and they ended up signing up for more than they expected. Instead of just getting a regular working job with a regular boss, they got a freaking asshole. That's what they got, and that's what's wrong with this situation. And it starts to give credence to some of the other stuff. What these guys are pointing out to you guys is that Mr. Beast, I don't want to say fostered or created, but he was presiding over a toxic environment. Working for Mr. Beast is a toxic working environment. You got all this stuff with the sexual stuff and the Dog Pack 404 allegations and the Jake Weddle and paying Jake Weddle more than the black guy and all this other weird stuff with the women. And you hired a guy that was a convicted, registered, you-know-what offender that was working for the company. And now you're making editors and employees work way more hours, and folks got to work on their 30th birthday and working on Christmas. You done lost your day. I would never in my life work on Christmas. You would have to pay me in the same. That's the crazy part. I bet you didn't even get paid more for that. If I had employees working on Christmas, you got to pay them more than time and a half. You're Mr. Beast. You're the billionaire, right? You're the big YouTube guy. You got to pay them what's your paycheck? If your paycheck is $2,000, on the next paycheck, you getting $4,500. That's how that's supposed to be. Probably didn't happen though. Let's keep going.
From 2020 to 2021, New Year's, like every single holiday you can think of, I worked those holidays just so I could comment on these videos. And
the man's didn't even get to celebrate New Year's. He didn't even get to go to a New Year's Eve celebration party and do the countdown. The man's over there editing videos, working hard while everybody else celebrate New Year's. This is wrong. This is not okay.
And then I would go to bed at 3 or 4 a.m. and then get up at like 9:30 the next day just so I could drive back to the studio and then work on production stuff.
Wow.
Every single day.
Yeah, working for Mr. Beast sounds like a nightmare, like a legit nightmare. Like you could make a Netflix series on this. Like, literally, you could legit make a Netflix series on this, a 4-part docuseries. I work for Mr. Beast. This is what happened. Like, this is crazy. Okay, the last thing is, apparently Mr. Beast was like handing out Adderall to employees, which, again, guys, can you imagine working at your day job and your boss is like, you know what, I kind of want you to stay up longer. Even though I'm not going to pay you for it, but I want you to stay up longer and work more hours. Got this plastic bag in your cubicle. Why don't you go ahead and open that and take a few of those? I need you to stay up every day so I can make more money. Not you, me. Like, crazy. Here we go.
To your knowledge, did you know about him offering substances to people to stay and work longer?
Yep. Adderall. There was a huge, I say huge, but it was all internal. There was a time in summer of 2020, it might have been fall, where Adderall was being passed around the company, and there were higher up employees that were offering it to other employees just so they could work all night and edit.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't Mr. Beast that was offering it. It was the higher up employees with Mr. Beast's company that were giving people Adderall so they could work all night and work more. I think I've seen enough, folks. I think I've seen enough. I mean, regardless of what you think, MrBeast is just not a good person, okay? That's just what it is. Shout out to this guy for having the courage to come out. Unfortunately, whenever you come out against the biggest YouTuber on planet Earth, there's an army of crazy people who come after you and say, oh, you're just a crybaby, you're just a disgruntled employee. And I hope that I could serve as the channel that not only defends those people, but just kind of serves as the voice of reason here. You know, like if I see something that's wrong with these employees, I'll call it out. I mean, I called out the Tyor guy who tried to raise $1 million for his GoFundMe. I thought that guy was just a complete jerk. You know, I thought that was clown world over there. But if you're a legit employee with a legit, you know, story about your work with MrBeast, I'm going to cover it. And I think this guy's story is beyond legit. And it's unfortunate that he was subjected to those awful working conditions. That's what it is. That should never happen. Okay. All right. That's today's video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.